do some research. Go online, go to Smarter Loans. They have a great amount of websites to compare and check reviews and try to get as much information as you can to be able to decide who you want to apply to.
If you were making a list for a customer, for a borrower, what he or she has to, sort of go through when they're looking for capital, what should they keep in mind?
Oh, absolutely. I think setting expectations is king. And then that is number one, if you're a business, right, and there's not collateral in the sense of homes, boats, money market account, right, which is what typical collateral looks like, you have to recognize you're getting capital against your revenue, right? And the revenue of the future is unpredictable. So understand that when you associate bank rates and bank interest rates at 3, 4, 5% for your home, you're not going to get that against receivables. It's much more uncertain. And I think that if you're growing a business, right, you need to say to yourself, okay, I'm getting capital for what purpose? If it is to increase your revenue and grow your business, yes, the cost matters, but the market sets the cost, right? The market creates it and sets the cost. If somebody's out there and says, I'll give it to you for 1%, the market says 1%. If 5 funders come out there and say, I'll give it to you at 20%, the market is 20%. Be open-minded to what the market is and collect many offers. I've seen so many times where borrowers will literally say, oh my God, it's not 8% or 6% or 7%. Maybe they're a 1-year business, which is high risk. They don't realize that. And they're like, I'm out. Well, look, making that decision based on that and not listening to what the market says is short-sighted if you're not considering what you're using the money for and how it's going to help your business. That is huge to understand. And that's the advice for people that what we call rate shock, because they don't really understand that they're not the same thing as giving their home at 2-3%. It's just not. People just don't know. It's new to them. They associate banks and loans with 3, 4, 5% interest because that's what they got with their home, or that's what they heard, or that's what they think it is. But this is a newer space. This is against smaller business, which is unpredictable revenue, right? So that's number one. Number two, you need to prepare your business for it. You need to make sure that when you're going to submit yourself, you want to make sure your bank statements are what we call as clean as possible. You're paying your bills on time, and sometimes you're not. And sometimes that's maybe why you need capital. And there's products out there to help that. But keep in mind that you're being assessed based upon many things, one of which main component is how clean your bank statements are. Are your revenues coming in consistently? How are your average bank balances? Are your average bank balances consistent? Are you maintaining a decent average bank balance? What is a decent average bank balance? At least 5%. Ideally, you want to see 10%. And what does that mean, 5 or 10%? Your average bank balance divided by your revenue. So your average bank balance is a function of revenue. 10% is really good. 5% is pretty much where you want to start at. Anything below that's considered quite low, and it could be problematic for getting good terms. And sometimes if it's too low, you won't, like below 2%, you might not get an offer depending on what are the other details of your business may look like. So you have to prepare your business and you have to make sure that you're setting expectations. Number 3, do some research. Go online, go to Smarter Loans. They have a great amount of websites to compare and check reviews and try to get as much information as you can to be able to decide who you want to apply to. Don't just apply to necessarily the cheapest rate because you don't know where you fall. You don't know. You might think that your business is prime at 1 or 2 years in business, but it doesn't work like that. There's so many different data points that matter, the industry or in the time in business that you have, how clean your bank statements are, which we just spoke about, and what's on your background. Do you have any past collections, bankruptcies, tax liens, judgments? And some companies will preach that they don't care about personal credit, and they don't, and that's okay. There's products for that as well. But the different metrics that I've just given to you, most companies will use almost all of them. So you just want to apply to a couple that you feel really, really confident about, get some quotes, get some information, ask a lot of questions. And I think that is some of the best thing you can do, and be open-minded and just collect information. If you go into the transaction with your set expectations of how it's going to be, you may or may not be happy depending on what it is because it's new to you and it's a new situation.